Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm Nick.
I'm Alex.
Welcome to Nick and Alex. 今日はね、ちょっと特別の動画で、奥村さんの発言について話したいと思います。まあちょっと英語で話すんで、わからない人はわからないかな。まあしょうがない、それは。まず、共同ニュースの記事を読んで、で、もし聞き取れなかったら、動画の説明にリンクがあるんで読んでください。で、その後ちょっとアレックスと二人で話します。Here we go.The title is, Comedian Says Pandemic Will Prod Pretty Girls into Sex Industry. Tokyo. A Japanese comedian apologized Wednesday for his recent remarks that men can look forward to seeing pretty girls entering the sex industry after the coronavirus is over, as they would be in need of money and obliged to take such jobs temporarily. Takashi Okamura, who sparked controversy after making the remarks last week during a weekly midnight live radio show he hosts, said he deeply regrets them in a statement posted on the website of Yoshimoto Kogyo Holdings Corporation, to which he belongs. Okamura, 49, who forms the two-man comedy unit 99 with Hiroyuki Yabe, said he made the remarks without considering circumstances in the world, adding they were extremely inappropriate toward people who are in a tough position.During the all-night Nippon radio show broadcast by Nippon Broadcasting System, Incorporated, in the early hours of last Friday, Okamura made the remarks in question after reading a comment from a listener who complained about being unable to use services in the sex industry due to the pandemic. God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear, he said, and added, after the coronavirus is over, something absolutely fantastic will occur. You will think, I've never seen a girl like this in the industry after the coronavirus is over, so please hold on. Save your money now for use in fuzoku, sexual entertainment services. After the pandemic is gone, he quipped.Prior to his apology, Nippon Broadcasting System offered an apology on its website on Monday, saying Okamura's remarks showed lack of understanding of the current coronavirus calamities as well as a lack of respect for women. So what do you think about this? Are you offended as a woman?
Of course.
Of course.
I'm enraged.
Enraged. それは sarcasm.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, just to let you guys know. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's...good to see someone finally addressing the sex question during the pandemic because it's kind of been silenced,
Well, just to give you some background, I've been on All Night Nippon before,
right.
And it's a late night show, so it's adult questions, adult jokes, you know what I mean? He's saying a joke. I hope you guys, do you understand what a joke is? Does the world understand what jokes are anymore?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, everyone has to take everything seriously, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's an offensive joke, right?Well,
yeah, but what's the problem? I mean, jokes are kind of supposed to, strike you, especially, when you have a calamity or, something really bad occurs and humor is the only thing that gets you through it, right?
Yes.
That's the point of humor. Well, one of them, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a little bit of truth to what he says, maybe, maybe he's being disrespectful to women and maybe there will be women like that, but you can't, I don't know, this is the difference between European, Western comedy and Japanese comedy.
Yeah.
There's a word in Japanese comedy which I think is so stupid. It's, 子供からじいさんばあさんまで笑いを取るみたいな. It's make everybody laugh. And that, to me, that's the most boring thing you can do. Make something that everybody likes. I think it's more fun to make some jokes that offend some people and some jokes, you know what I mean? But I'll let you talk.
Well, they would have to be very generic, right? If you would only, if you would target everyone because people have different sense of humor. And if you target children, that's pretty boring, isn't it?
Just to let you know, in the West, there's dead baby jokes about dead babies. After 9/11 happened, there were jokes about 9/11. Even comedians who have joke battles, one of the comedians' dad died in 9/11 and the other comedian made a joke about his dad dying in 9/11. Okay. There's, obviously racist jokes. If those are good or bad, that's a completely different topic. But, yeah.
I think that there has been a trend of, people being offended by sexist jokes, racist jokes, that kind of, that leads to self-censorship first because, you're I made this joke kind of cool, but, probably someone's going to complain, so I'm not going
to do it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I always wonder, would I rather live in a society where nobody ever gets offended, but I can't speak my mind and I have to worry about what I say, or live in a society where I might offend somebody and I'm able to say what.
Is this another like would you rather?
Yeah, so would you? I choose the latter.
So wait, so if no one gets offended but you can't speak, or like everyone does get offended but you can.
Or some people may get offended and you can say what you want.
Yeah, well, I want to say what I want.
Yeah, me too.
I think being born in a country where you're not supposed to say what you think, I don't see how people who kind of fight for, freedom and all that stuff, they're like, oh, but whenever you say something that offends me, you should not be allowed to say it. Like, no, you should be allowed to say anything. Whether that's a good joke or a bad joke, that's a different question. But,
in addition, okay, so this is maybe offensive to women in the sex industry, right? And I'm not saying I dislike the sex industry. I think I like it. But,
of course.
But even the fact that he brought this joke up brings to light problems that women in the sex industry will have. So in some ways, you know more about the problem after hearing the joke than you did before hearing the joke. Is that an argument or is that not an argument?
I think that's a very optimistic way to say it.
It is but did you think about that before reading this?
About women going to the sex
industry?
industry?
Are there going to be women who are going to lose money and have to go into prostitution? Did you ever think about that?
No.
But now you are.
Well, I suppose. I mean, yeah, in a way, I guess that does make you think. Although, the fact that I'm thinking about it doesn't really change anything because I'm not going to, go and establish a fund of let's sponsor women who lost their jobs. Yeah. But also, they're not the only people who are going to suffer. So I'm pretty sure there will be even men who go to work in the sex industry after this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't be me, but...
Well, good luck. Yeah. Good luck.
Maybe hopefully it will be.
Yeah, well, you should reconsider your career choices.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that this is a very, people do get offended in America. Like they call it depersoned, where somebody will say something offensive and then people on Twitter get angry at them and you're never allowed to go on TV again. But, he apologized, right, about this? Yeah, do you think he really means it? No.
I don't think anyone ever means it when they apologize for what they said.
Of course. He just feels bad that he got in trouble for it. And I don't blame him at all. His partner's now trying to defend him and stuff like that. Yeah. Saying like he learned a lesson, he said something, but guys make those type of jokes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not the first one. He made it publicly, but I don't really see the problem with the joke itself.
Well, like I said, I've been on All Night Nippon. It's late night, so there's dirty talk. The jokes I made on it weren't like sexist or racist, but they were like controversial. I remember. I was surprised that I could even do them. But the whole radio shock jock culture around the world, radio is different than TV. TV is more of like golden prime time. The whole family gets behind it and watches, and radio is more like, more dirty, edgy. A little bit more edgy. Like, do you know who Howard Stern is? You don't know who Howard Stern is? Well, she's Russian. He's the biggest radio host in America.
Okay.
He's worth like $600 million.
Okay.
And he started radio, I think it was maybe in the 60s, but he was the first guy to do offensive things on radio. Like he had a listener call in and he put a speaker where her special part is, and he did like a thing where he goes and tried to give her like an orgasm on air. Okay. And he got fired, he got sued, and now he's been the biggest. There's nobody bigger than him, and it's pretty normal now to act like, be a shock jock. But the whole, maybe not in Japan, but the point of comedy in the West is to push boundaries, and this is probably sexist, right?
Is it? I don't know. Maybe I just don't get offended because I'm not gonna go into the sex industry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a joke. Jokes. I don't think that jokes can be like sexist, racist, whatever. Like they're jokes, and that's exactly like you're not supposed to take them seriously.
Yeah, and even if you do get mad at them, that might be just, not the intended purpose for making it, but at least you got some type of emotion out of...
Well, but the thing is, when you make a joke, you kind of already presume that that's, like, something that... You wouldn't just say it because you think that. Like, you don't say that because you think that's a normal way of conversation. You're just like, oh, I'm making a joke. So the pre-assumption to the joke is already that it's kind of like,
Yeah. There's like a saying in Japanese. I actually tweeted about it yesterday. It's hit the weak dog with a stick.
Okay.
And basically it means it's something they do in Japan a lot. When somebody's been targeted and becomes weak, then everybody starts ganging up on them.
Okay.
So now everybody's talking shit about him all over Twitter. All the people on TV are like, in their high thrones saying how bad he is. And I guarantee you they've all made the same jokes as he made. So it's just, like not a scapegoat because he did say something controversial. And I believe in free speech, but I also believe in responsibility for your speech.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess you can't say that stuff now. Another alternative that he could do, that there's lots of comedians that I watch in America who made tons of money on TV or whatever, and then saved their money and made their own platform where they can say anything they want, and I pay them directly.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but it's not really that popular in Japan.
Well, but do you think, as a comedian, would you make a joke like that?
Not in Japan. I wouldn't make a joke like that, and that's why I don't really care to do any more comedy in Japan.
Oh no!
I haven't done comedy in months, and I don't miss it at all. I mean, I do my radio show, and I hold back quite a bit. I mean, actually, some of the stuff I've said on that, I could get in much more trouble than what he said.
Right, so you're just kind of lucky.
I'm lucky I'm not as famous as he is, number one. But I mean, it's... And the problem is, once you apologize, then you are the one in the wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think you should apologize for, like, the jokes you make.
Really. Yeah, well, I mean, that's... it's like a Japanese cultural thing, like shazai kaiken, stuff like that. And I can completely understand why people are angry, but people are boring as hell now. Don't you think society's so boring? God.
I agree. I don't think people understand what humor is anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's also a difference between why is it your business to care about what somebody thinks?
Well, because everyone wants to be the thought police, my way of thinking is the right one. So if someone said something that I disagree or just dislike, means everyone has to dislike it, and then, means that they have to be shut up.
I mean, don't you think it would be a very different, if he said, okay, all women who are getting money from the government, no more money from the government, you all must work in the sex industry. That's a different question because... No,
but there is you're kind of saying there... someone has to be forced to do something. That's not really a joke anymore, right?
Yeah. It's not a thought. It's forced action.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I don't really think people say stuff I don't like all the time, actually. I see stuff on Twitter that I don't like all the time, but I mean, maybe one time I've said something, but I mean, I'm like, oh God, I don't like how that person thinks, or I don't think that's funny at all, but whatever.
No, yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, censorship is not a good thing, and, believe me. So some people might find it funny, some people might not find it funny, but at least they have to have an option of choosing and, hearing what people say.
Yeah.
And, if you don't like that comedian, don't watch, his shows, don't listen to his broadcasts, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, is it a joke? Should he have waited? Was it too soon, do you think?
I don't think you can time humor, really. I mean, again, you tell me how it works, obviously, when you come up with a joke. But...
Well, I mean, that's the thing also, when you're on the spot, right? And the job of a comedian is to make people laugh. Right. You're not thinking about moral questions.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't.
Yeah. You're more concerned, and I'm sure every person watching this has done the same thing. Every person on Twitter has done the same. Everybody in the world has done something that they regret afterwards.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
But the problem is when you're famous and it's recorded, then people can hear it, right? Have you ever said anything that you think you would have gotten in trouble for if anybody else heard it? Or have you ever thought thoughts that you might get in trouble for if somebody else heard it? So, I mean, I guess there's some moral responsibility to care about what you say on air, but it's also his job to make people laugh, and it's the guy's call That guy's like a sleazy, he's like, God, I really want to go to the sex industry, but I mean, that's a sleazy question, right?
Yeah.
So you can't answer it by, well, actually, you could get sick, so I think you should wait at least a half year, you know what I mean? Like an answer seriously. That's not entertaining at all. It's called entertainment.
Well, yeah, it's called humor, so you're supposed to, you can't be boring, just like take facts seriously. So,
yeah.
Obviously there are problems, but we have other people to deal with them, like there are people, if you work as a politician, that's one thing. But if you work as a comedian, well, that's your job. I mean, what's the problem with...
Well, I think if anything, this brought to light a problem that might occur after coronavirus ends. There might be women who are in trouble, and no woman should have to be forced to work in a sex industry because they can't make ends meet, right?
Yeah, but I don't see how that is much different from people who would have to do something else that they profoundly dislike because they lost their job because of the coronavirus.
But don't you think it should be a human right to where you don't have to work in a sex industry if you don't want to, though?
Yeah, but they're not going to be like, no one's forcing you to do that. You can go and work in a company. And I'm pretty sure you could still get a job, but that's your kind of choice, and you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna make 10 times, well, probably not even 10, like 100 times more money, so I decide to go to the sex industry.
That's true.
It's not like they're, someone literally put like handcuffs on them, and they, drag them to some sort of basement, and now you have to be a sex worker. It's still a choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that I think, to give you the honest truth, I think Japan needs to make it a little bit more clear about the laws with the sex industry, because it's obviously an industry in Japan, right?
Yeah, wow.
But they have all these, you can't do this and you can't do that. How about then just either legalize it or make it illegal? Do one or the other. Because, I don't know, it's just less safe for the people working there when the laws are blurry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm totally for, like, legalizing prostitution.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm for the safety of the people working there too.
Yeah,
by the way, you can disagree with anything we say,
please do.
Just like we disagree with the people who are complaining about.
That's great if you do. So.
That's what the world should be about, actually.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyway, I think that was pretty long too, right?
I suppose. But let us know what you think. And, I suppose we've been kind of offensive to some people today. But...
Yeah, people might unsubscribe, but that's their freedom to unsubscribe, right?
Right. Well, I suppose, the conclusion is freedom is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, freedom of just expressing yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.